Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm very happy to have you guys here. In today's video, I want to share my thoughts on this beautiful fragrance right here called Bacchus Paradiso from Hekayat Attar, a brand that I have just recently started to explore much more. So far, I've tried 3 fragrances from them. Bacchus Paradiso, which is an inspiration of Angel Share Paradis, the latest addition to the Angel Share family, and I've also tried Gen Z Marshmallow, which is an outstanding fragrance, and Pink Puffle Pink, something like this, which is another beautiful fragrance, but that's more for the summertime. But anyways, like I've mentioned, I want to let you know how this fragrance smells like, how it performs, and let me give you a small spoiler, this performs incredible. And yeah, I also want to compare it to some of the other fragrances I've tried, but just like briefly, only a few words. Fragrances like Raspberry Paradise from PERFUMES, which is also an inspiration of Angel Share Paradis. Royal Blend, my favorite fragrance from French Avenue and my favorite inspiration of Angel Share. Decadent by Naseem, the other favorite one. Hamra also, and a few others. But let's just start. Let me just take a moment to spray this fragrance. So this fragrance, you guys, like in a nutshell, if you love Royal Blend, the OG, if you love that molecular facet, if you love Decadent by Naseem, again, if you love the boozy accord and that molecular undertone, you love this fragrance as well, because this genuinely maintains, or let's just say follows a very similar direction as the previous 2 I've mentioned. It genuinely opens up with this beautiful raspberry accord. The raspberry feels cold, tart, and almost a little bit of a sparkling raspberry in the opening. So it adds sweetness, but it's a cold and tart sweetness in the opening. And then I pick up this beautiful cooling, almost like this icy cooling of an accord, and that's the boozy accord. Like I've mentioned in some other videos, for some reason, to my nose, the boozy accord in a lot of these fragrances, or more so, let's just say in the family of Angel Share, to me the boozy accord kind of comes across like this icy cooling accord. I'm imagining like, I don't know, like some alcohol but lots of ice. This is how it translates to my nose. And you have this beautiful accord here as well, something a little bit dry and woodsy. They've listed oak, and I do have to say, you guys, it kind of gives me like the vibe of an oak barrel where you put wine, where you put all types of alcohol, you know, in your basement, pretty much like that old dry oak barrel that you've had for, I don't know, like hundreds of years. It was passed down in the family, let's say. It has that type of woody accord, you know, so this does lean into the boozy direction, but don't think boozy like, I don't know, like you've spilled some alcohol on you or that kind of boozy. No, it's a beautiful, well-balanced, layered, complex, a little bit funky because of the added raspberry. But my favorite part, like this, by the way, this is my favorite inspiration. So in between this one, Raspberry Paradise from PERFUMES, and Rogue's Heavenly Essence Nectar. It took me a minute to remember the name. This is my favorite inspiration. I will tell you why in a second. But pretty much, you guys, the raspberry to my nose lingers. I do pick up slight cinnamony touches, something from an apple pie, but the apple pie with the cinnamon is not as dominant to me in this fragrance. But it's almost like it's in the background. You get whispers of this spiced apple pie. So you never lose the Angel Share-like direction, you know, but it never takes over. To me, the raspberry is the spotlight, together with that icy cooling alcoholic accord, together with that beautiful dry woodsy accord. And imagine they're all wrapped into this molecular coating of something slightly synthetic, but synthetic in a good way. Synthetic like you have in this fragrance, you know, that creates this somewhat of a translucency throughout the composition, somewhat of a transparency. This like kind of molecular coating, you know I'm talking about, like you have here as well. Beautiful fragrance, you guys, beautiful fragrance, and I like what the raspberry adds here. So yeah, I have to say, you guys, this has pretty much a linear development, which if you ask me, I think it's good because it maintains everything I love about it from the opening. Yes, indeed, the raspberry loses that slight sparkling facet it had. It loses that slight vibrancy and effervescence. That slight effervescent touch it had, but I'm still able to pick up traces of the raspberry accord, and it adds the most gentle sweetness, slightly tart, like I've mentioned, red fruity kind of sweetness, paired with the boozy accord, paired with that molecular accord, with that dry woodsy accord that gets much more pronounced. To me, this is the direction, let's just say, this fragrance follows once it stays here a little bit on paper as well as on your skin. So yeah, Now, what to tell you about this fragrance, you guys? I love what they did. I think they nailed this DNA. Not to say that this is the closest to Angel Share Paradis, because I haven't smelled it, but out of the fragrances that are inspired by Angel Share Paradis and I have smelled it, to me this is my favorite take. This, like I've mentioned, maintains the same molecular facet, but then, I don't know, like 20, 30 something minutes in, it gets much richer, the woodsy accord gets much more pronounced and highlighted, whereas this fragrance maintains the breeziness, the molecular quality about it, the translucency throughout it. So from this perspective, texture-wise, think of it like royal blend with an added raspberry accord. That's outstanding. Think of it as texture-wise now, not necessarily scent-wise. Think of it like Amber Rhythm from Afnan, the same breeziness, the same, it feels lightweight, weight-wise, but then at the same time it feels so intense and such a strong blend. This is that kind of fragrance that not only it's extremely oily, I will show you because I will add a close-up. When you spray this fragrance on your skin, it genuinely looks and feels like you've applied oil. They've listed it as an exterior parfum. And I can tell it's concentrated. I'm not really sure what's the perfume concentration here, but they've really made it concentrated and decadent and projecting and full-bodied. I've worn this fragrance in a lot of different scenarios, but I remember one time I've worn it when I went to buy some makeup and different body care and etc, etc. And as I was there walking through the aisles, I could sense that fragrance enveloping me and projecting off of me. And here in Romania currently it's pretty cold, like we're in full-blown autumn. Even some days it's more cold than your natural autumn season. And this performs in cold weather, this projects in cold weather, and this also projects in high heat. I think in high heat less is more, because even though, like I've mentioned, it maintains this somewhat of a translucency throughout the composition, but it's a very intense fragrance, you guys. But again, and the price is fair. You can find this fragrance for around 30 euros, 31 euros. Perhaps you can find it more affordable. Again, depending on where you live, perhaps you find it, I don't know, like a bit more expensive. But to me, like 30 euros for how this smells, for how this projects, for how this lasts and everything, it's what's the word? It's definitely a very fair price, to say the least. You know what I mean? Now, speaking of performance, so longevity on my skin is above 6 hours. This is the kind of fragrance that if I apply it now in my hair, best believe I'll be able to smell it until I will wash my hair. This is how strong this fragrance is. Also on my skin, you guys, like I told you, more than 6 hours projection is amazing. I'm telling you, this is that kind of fragrance. It's not such of a beast mode like Instant Crush, Arabian Stonka, but it comes close to my nose. It definitely comes close, and something I like, I don't get nose blind to it. So I am able to smell it throughout the whole day on me, especially if this goes on my scarf, on my coat. It's that kind of fragrance, again, that sticks so well to the fabric that you need to wash that piece of clothing or that item to get the scent off. This is how loud it is. And yeah, now this is pretty much everything I wanted to tell you about Bacchus Paradiso by Hekayat Attar. Now I told you why this is my favorite inspiration, because it maintains this beautiful molecular, almost it's like airy molecular translucent quality throughout the development, while highlighting a dry woodsy accord, that oak barrel type of accord, while highlighting a beautiful raspberry facet, while highlighting a beautiful spicy cinnamony touch, while highlighting a beautiful almost like alcohol on ice, or alcohol with ice, that kind of accord. So yeah, enough about this fragrance. I genuinely think it's a hidden gem. I think it's a fragrance that it deserves your attention. But if you love the molecular quality in this fragrance, in Royal Blend, I can tell you pretty much you love Bacchus Paradiso. Also, if you love the molecular quality in this fragrance, Decadent by Naseem, you love Bacchus Paradiso. Think of these two fragrances with added raspberry, tone down a little bit the apple pie, amplify the boozy accord, amplify a little bit the woodsy accord. So yeah, now compared to these two fragrances right here, Royal Blend Nero and Hamra, I'd say yes, I can sense some similarities. Think a slight spicy cinnamony accord, think a touch of something like an apple pie, but the main difference that I noticed between this category right here and the other fragrances, so Royal Blend, the simple one, Bacchus Paradiso, Nayam Decadent is the texture, you guys, and the effect it creates pretty much. So in this kind of fragrances, you have a very pronounced resinous, like an ambery resinous accord paired with vanilla that add a lot of weight and richness and this fully opaque feeling to the blend. You know, like when you smell this fragrance, this is a fully opaque fragrance. When you smell Royal Blend Nero, fully opaque composition. Whereas this fragrance, like I told you, this feels molecular, this smells, it has something synthetic about it, but in the best way possible. In the best way possible. But to begin with, you should appreciate this kind of fragrances, like I've mentioned. Do not repeat myself, you got my point. So yeah, this is everything I wanted to tell you. This fragrance was kindly sent to me for reviewing purposes by the team from Dubai Collection. So thank you so much to Dubai Collection. If you want to shop this fragrance, other fragrances from Hekayat Attar, samples, why not? Definitely take advantage. Start with a sample, start with a decant, test it and see what you think about it. Thank you so much for watching. If you've tried this fragrance, I would love to hear your thoughts on this fragrance. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know how it makes you feel. I can tell you, when I wear this fragrance, I feel chic, I feel put together, I feel like I'm on my game, in my game, you know, like very chic and elegant, but again, a very like modern, chic, androgynous, dress it up, dress it down kind of blend. The kind that works amazing. Let's just say all year round I could wear this fragrance, or I could wear something like this, but even more so during the autumn winter season. This is the kind of fragrance that fits perfectly this scenario. And again, performance is amazing, so don't think you will purchase this fragrance and you're not going to be able to smell it in autumn, in winter, when the temperatures drop, because I'm able to smell it easily, you guys, easily. This is everything I wanted to tell you. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. If you want to ask me anything in particular about this fragrance, feel free to do so, and I'll promise that I will get back to you. I'll see you in my next video, guys, but until then, I want to wish you an amazing day wherever you are. Bye.